right now. I am betting that you can't hear anything I'm saying because of this wind. I was very disappointed on my way in because cattle are all over the place. I'm up about 15 high in a pine tree, one of the only trees in this whole area that I can get a stand in. So the camera arm is not ideal, I'd say. It's about 3:30 or so. Sun sets at 5:30. Today's November 2nd. This is my first hunt I've ever recorded with this camera, so it's not going to be great. It's going to be hard to maneuver. I'm sitting right beside this pond. Let's see. You can kind of see the water there. And I've got a south wind. I'm facing south right now. The wind's right in my face. This is a really low impact set. I mean, the road's right behind me, about 150 yards or so. So I'm just on the edge. The wind's blowing back over the road. A few things surprised me on my way in here. I have not had a chance to hunt this entire year yet. Today is November 2nd, like I said. And there's a ton of Milo still in. There's a ton of cattle around, so both of those things are kind of affecting the spots that I have to sit. This is a great spot. I've shot bucks out of here before. There's been big deer here in the past, but I don't know what we're working with this year. I wasn't thrilled with the sign that I saw coming in. In years past, there's been a lot better sign, and also because it's so wet this year. Let's see, am I zoomed in? Yeah, I'm zoomed out all the way. Because it's so wet this year, they're not needing the water as much. In years past, when it was really dry, this water was drawing them in from far and wide, and I know that's not the case this year, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully a good sit, first sit. cut them off. So I'm downwind of where they would be cruising this bedding, checking for does. Fingers crossed. God is good. In the past, I've been freezing my absolute nuts off out here. But it's not actually that cold right now, so we'll see. Right after I finished the interview, I turned around and a little buck was walking up behind me. Probably one of the least likely places I was expecting. Eventually he buggered out of my scent, but once again, that was a bigger deer. He'd be dead right now, so that's a great sign. My ground scent isn't too bad, and I'm hoping that with all the little bucks pushing around does, me being in here and slightly upsetting one little buck isn't going to be a big deal. I can see from about 200 yards away that there's a big rub on a tree over there. So that's a good sign for me. It shows that they're in here and they're using this and tearing it up pretty good. So I'm not seeing any of these community scrapes looking super fresh from right where I'm at. But this is a scrape line all up from north to south, so I know they're going to be in here. So fingers crossed again. We're just enjoying being outside. We'll see what happens. I'm wearing my ridiculous hat now because it got a little colder. I don't know how good the footage was of that buck that just walked through. But the second he was bigger, he was a 2.5-year-old, I think, at least. He might have been 3.5, probably a 2.5-year-old, but he had a busted main beam on the front, and he was kind of a basket rack. These bucks are coming in at a really weird spot. I mean, it doesn't make sense where they're coming from. Like, they're coming from the same direction as I did. And I intentionally walked kind of in a wider circle around this CRP grass so that I would avoid giving him any ground scent. So, that smaller buck, when he hit my ground scent, he kind of buggered up a little bit, didn't really like it, but he ended up just walking. The issue is with the more mature bucks, oftentimes the same thing that'll like maybe bugger out a littler buck or a younger deer, just like instantly set him off, and that's exactly what happened for this buck. I saw him coming up behind me. Again, it's hard to see him kind of where they're coming from right now, but I saw him coming up behind me, and then the second he hit my ground scent, he was gone. Like, just like he was not sticking around to figure it out. Like, that smaller buck just stood on my ground scent for maybe, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. He was just sniffing around in there. So that shows me that if a big deer comes down this same trail that the past 2 bucks in the past half hour have come by, I need to shoot him before he hits my ground scent. I mean, these deer come right here and right here, and they hit my ground scent about right here. So I have to shoot them in this range instead of when they get to right here, which would be kind of my perfect spot to shoot them. I know that big deer do like to cruise right here on this path that's right in front of me, and they also like to come from the south up towards me in this direction. So if they're all coming that way, it's going to be a really quick shot. I'm going to have to get them before they hit my ground scent. I was a little bit pleased with how that smaller deer reacted to my ground scent. He was kind of like not bothered. But that bigger buck, he knew right away. He literally was gone. Alright. 2 deer. I mean, I've always considered it a successful hunt if I see deer, and then even more so if I have them in bow range. So we're in the good spot, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm running into something I've very rarely dealt with in November. bow hunting. And that's flies. I mean, usually I'm just freezing cold by now in the morning. Usually it's, high 20s, low 30s. But it's like 45 or almost 50 degrees now, which is ridiculously warm, which sucks because, being in the stand when it's hot means these deer are probably hunkered down because they've got their winter coats on and whatnot. So last week was really good, and I thought it would have killed off most of these flies. It's about 9 o'clock right now. I'm not expecting a lot of movement right now, which of course means they could zoom in at any moment. And I haven't seen a single doe on this trip yet from the stand except for the one late last night that was moving alone and acting weird, and so that could have been a hot doe. I mean, it's hard to say, but I haven't seen the groups of does that I usually see zooming around. Which probably means they're upset from being pushed around by these little bucks, in the pre-rut. And then when the does start hunkering down, then that really seems to be when the big bucks know to move. Got a few ravens cawing around, and overall a beautiful morning, but I'm trying to remember where I was going with that thought. But so anyway, probably around 10 o'clock is when a lot of the big bucks, in my experience, move. They'll find their spot, they'll bed down for the morning, and then the wind shifts, the thermals change, and those big bucks like to move like 10:30 range. So I'm considering an all-day sit today. I mean, I only have 3 more days to make it happen, so with my butt in the stand is the most viable way to get a high chance at seeing a big buck cruising, especially this time of year. So I've adjusted the camera arm to hopefully better look down on where all these deer are coming from. Truthfully, I expected them to be coming from behind me, right here in this pad. But so far, I've seen 3 deer. 2 are bucks, chasing kind of right behind where this camera's pointed. And about 10:38, give or take, a doe ran through here, just shaking and panting, and you could tell that she was exhausted from running. And I mean, I perked right up. I expected a buck to be chasing that doe around. It was probably 15 minutes ago, and I haven't seen a thing since then. So I'm assuming that doe was hot, and she took that same exact path those other bucks did. So my wind's starting to shift to get a little more east in it. I'm expecting bucks, especially mature bucks, to be up and moving right now. So I've moved this camera arm. Should be able to get a good view of my shooting lane. We'll see how these deer are using the space now that the wind is shifting to more of a straight east. Right now there's still a lot of north in it, but it's going to be moving east. So keep you updated. It's just before 11 o'clock. It is 4:45 right now. I've been sitting in this tree since before the shooting light this morning. I have seen 3 deer, and I have not seen anything for about 4 hours. Should be getting close to money time, so hopefully these deer are getting up. We've got a pretty steady east wind, not too gusty, so I'm facing east right now. The wind is blowing over my back right now. Every deer this morning came from the west, but it doesn't really make sense because there's not a whole lot out there. I've been keeping my eye out. I know that bucks like to bed in the thicket of trees out a little bit to the northwest out here, but most of the really good bedding here is behind me to my west, so that wind is blowing to me. So if any bucks come to scent check any of this really good bedding that's behind me, I'm talking about pine thickets, real tall CRP, they're gonna walk right under my stand right here, and I cut them off. So historically, deer also do come out to the south here and filter here towards the north. The pond that I was sitting at yesterday is maybe 500 yards to my north. So they will filter out into this field. Yeah, pretty strong wind going straight east. So when those deer filter out into this field and go up towards the pond, they can go directly to the pond through all the bedding, but it's a little quicker for them to hop through the hedgerow and then go up north on this little 2-track. So that's what I'm hoping they do here this afternoon, and we'll see. I've got a volunteer fire department meeting tonight, and I'm going to be a couple minutes late for. I'll have to drive back home and then spend the night with the family. My wife's birthday is tomorrow. She graciously agreed to let me hunt, which is awesome of her. Spend the night with family and get back on the road early to again get in the stand, I think, before first light, and keep hunting. These all-day sets are not for the weak, but if I failed this season, I'd much rather it be because I just wasn't in the right spot, not because I wasn't trying hard enough. I think there's like a sick enjoyment, beauty, whatever you want to call, in that. Just the chase, the pursuit, I think that draws me. Even if I don't get a deer, I tried as hard as I could. And, when you do get one, it makes it all the sweeter. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just after 4:45, sunset's at 5:34 tonight. So let's get it. That's a nice touch with the moon coming up behind me. Well, it's about 5:50 or so. Light is fading fast. I mean, there's still a few minutes of legal shooting light left, but it seemed pretty quiet in here. Man, I gotta admit, the whole day sit was tough. I'm gonna do it again tomorrow, because I don't really have more options, but yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, if any of the deer that I saw today were a mature buck, he probably would have an arrow in him. I mean, I would have at least had an opportunity to take a shot, I think, on all those deer. The problem was they ended up busting me, so a few of them did, some of them didn't care at all, but yeah. It's hard work sitting in a tree all day. I mean, really it's not, but it's more the mental aspect of it. I know some hunters have spent days upon days, and before I had kids, I used to spend a lot of time out here. Again, shout out to my wife for not only allowing me to do this now with 4 kids at home, but also, what she put up with when we didn't have any kids at home, and I was gone a lot, sitting in the deer So overall, a really good day. I'm glad that I got to do this. So signing out for November 2nd and hoping for a more productive day tomorrow on today's November 3rd. I had my days mixed up the whole time. Tomorrow's my wife's birthday, November 4th, so signing out for November 3rd and hoping to have a more productive November 4th. We'll see you later. Alright, I'm up in the stand in a new set, and this set needs a lot of work. Like I said, I haven't been out here in a long time. Branches grown all around. I'm in an interesting spot. It's really a feast or famine spot. I mean, I could sit here all day and see nothing. But I shot my biggest buck ever right over here, out of this barn before it fell down. So it looks thick in here. It looks nasty. I might need to pull some deer off the creek if I end up doing that. But I made it in here. I was awoken this morning. Well, I woke up at 4:52 and looked at the clock and said, well, I'm getting up anyway. And then my alarm went off for the fire department. And we had an alarm for a structure fire, so I zoomed out of the house down to the station, got all bunkered up, went, and turns out it was a false alarm. So then I went back to the house and got my stuff and came back out. It sent me back a little bit, but I'm up here in time, so I'm going to continue getting set up here. We'll see how it goes. So before the sun comes up, I'd like to explain my setup just a little bit. I've got a strong enough south wind all day, pretty steady. I'm on the north end of this bedding cover, which used to be an old homestead, as far as I understand it, and mostly in the 70s, people stopped living in their homesteads out here and they just became vacant. Nobody bought them to live in, and they just moved to the cities in the 70s. So a lot of these old homesteads just fell into disrepair. But because there's structures and fences and, telephone poles, power lines, all those things in here, you can't just farm the land. So this particular homestead and many others grow up with very thick overgrowth, and if they're left as is, a lot of deer are going to come in and use this to bed. When I started hunting in 2016 and 17, they were using this place as an absolute refuge. And over the years, I've got pictures of massive bucks in here. The problem is, if you blow it up, you blow it up. It's a 1 or 2 acre little parcel in a massive field behind me. You can probably see the field just past those trees. Is a fallow field that had beans on it this year, I believe, which is actually a little bit rare for here. Usually there aren't beans. But anyway, there are, 8-10 foot tall pigweeds in here. Like all of it. It's just really thick. And then over to the west, there's a little bit of creek bottom. So, creek bottom goes all the way up to our north. So, if I was a betting man, and I'm not, sorry about the angle here. If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I would say that those deer are going to come off some of that really thick cover to the south, come up here, and they might either come right through the farmstead, which I've got a 15-yard shot. I've got a 15-yard shot if they take that path right through the farmstead, cut through here. If they go to my west a little bit, I'm going to have to try to call them over here. I mean, if a buck is really fired up, I might be able to snort wheeze him in. In 2018, I killed my buck by snort wheezing him in. He was pissed. He couldn't believe that a buck would be challenging him. He was a fighter. Had all swollen up eye and everything. I can put some pictures on the screen now, but he was a cool deer. But he was coming at me, and then he cut into some cover, and I snort wheezed at him, and he popped out of that cover and beeline towards where I was, actually towards my wind, kind of. And right as he caught my wind, I shot him, and he went 50 yards and piled up. So that was a cool hunt. So I am confident in my ability to snort wheeze, but the buck's got to be fired up and pissed off if that's gonna work. I've also snort wheezed at other bucks, especially smaller bucks, and they just turn tail and run. They don't want to fight. So a snort wheeze is a huge challenge that would get probably like the mature ones or the fighters. I tend to see that the old 8-pointers, those guys love fighting. So we'll see. We'll see if it works out today. It's a beautiful spot nonetheless. And hearing the birds and everything, the sounds of the morning is really special. So I'm blessed to be out here. Alright, I've got my morning grinds in, so I look a little funky. They say you gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them. And I'm feeling like folding the laundry right now. I'm looking around. I don't see a ton of really good sign just from the tree, which I know you can't see much from the tree, so. Oh. Speak of the devil, what do I see over there? Pretty sure that's a pheasant running. I was gonna say, I'm seeing pheasants like crazy flying up and down this creek bottom right here. I'm seeing all these roosters flying up and down this creek bottom and on the neighbors down there. I saw something running. Just running through the field to cut wheat, and it's a pheasant. Anyway, I'm seeing all these roosters fly up and down. They're chattering, they're calling. It's pretty cool. But I just don't feel like I'm gonna be in deer here. Some years, if there's Milo in here, there's enough bedding cover for him to really settle in. But I feel like this year with the fallow beans, I was a little hopeful that they might come in and feed on that waste grain, but I'm just not seeing anything. So what I think I'm gonna do is pack up, and I'm gonna go straight to my north and then walk south kind of southwest along the creek bed to come back to the road here. My car is parked due west of us right now. It's on the next section over, so I didn't bugger anything out on my way in, which I'm really happy with my access, like where it is right here, but I just don't get the sense that I'm going to be in them here. I could be wrong, but I just don't have that feeling. So yesterday I sat all day in a tree, and for the whole second half of the day I didn't see a dadgum thing. So today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to try to road scout around a little bit. I've got a few more properties I can look at that I could actively walk. Actually, where my grandma's actual house is, that property, like right next to her house, doesn't have cattle on it. And last year, there was a buck that was bedded, 150 yards from her house. So there's a chance that I could be in the money there. I know this microphone is heavily directional, but I really hope that y'all can hear these beautiful birds. I mean, there is just so much life in this little patch. It's really awesome. And generally when there is so much life, I would think there's a good chance that there's also deer here, but I'm just not seeing it right now. I mean, if I go up and I check the creek bottom and there's rubs and scrapes and all that stuff in there, I mean, I could just come right back, but I'm kind of doubting that that's going to be the case. This is really kind of the northern end of a whole network of low points where these deer like to travel in. And I feel like if they're getting intercepted anywhere along that network, it's going to sort of stop the whole system. So anyway, enough yapping. I don't think I can take you guys with me as I'm actually, walking down there. I don't have a good chest mount or whatever set up, so I might give it just a couple more minutes here. But seeing those pheasants flying up and down that creek bed were cool, and they're talking back and forth to each other. So maybe for pheasant season I'll get out here. I don't really hunt pheasants. I don't even own a shotgun, but maybe we can get some cousins out in here. We can all hang out and have a good time. Hunting pheasants is a fun time. So anyway, signing off. I'm gonna look at a couple public land spots. There's some properties up north about 40 minutes that might be worth looking at. There was tons of sign around here, and it was actually kind of cool. I saw a buck in the milo to the field immediately to the north. If you've ever seen a buck walk through a field of milo, like, his antlers have a very specific sway and look to them, which is kind of cool. Disappointed that this morning didn't really work out. I mean, there's a dude walking around straight to the west with his truck, and he's wearing an orange vest with a lime green something. I have no idea what he's doing. Looks like he's surveying or something. Maybe he is just doing a survey on the piece of property straight to the west, but everything's kind of buggered up, and the vibe was off. I would not feel good about sitting in this stand all day like I did yesterday. I mean, yesterday I feel like I had a better chance, so I don't mind sitting in the stand all day if I have a chance. But if I don't have a chance, then I'm just wasting my time. So I'm going to get mobile and see what we can kick up. Glassing kind of from the road, checking out all the different options, and drinking some coffee on the way, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride if we see anything crazy. So there are some public spots around here that I want to check out. Might be worth going in. I could use my ghost blind on the ground, or I've got a little blind as well. I'd have to take down one of my portables if I wanted to actually take the portable on a public land, and I have a feeling that it's probably not the best setup anyway on a lot of these public land spots. These bucks, if they're frequenting public, they're going to be smart enough to avoid the one or two trees. Most of the property out here, there's not a ton of cover trees or other things for them to get into, so they probably just, in my opinion, probably generally know to avoid trees. But I mean, it's the rut, so anything can happen. But anyway, I could probably functionally do the same thing with my pop-up, or more ideally my ground blind. So we're gonna get moving, and hopefully we can get it done today. I would love to get it done today just for the sake of my wife and family. Today's Tuesday the 4th. It's my wife's birthday. Actually gonna send her a text here real quick, just letting her know that I love her and I appreciate her and I miss her on her birthday. But we'll get going. All right, so what happened was I got sidetracked. As I was driving down the road next to the spot, I saw some roadkill. And as everyone knows, including my wife, roadkill is an opportunity, not an inconvenience. So every time my wife sees roadkill and I'm in the car, she says, Josh, or what else does she say? She just says, no.
Keep going.
Yeah, keep going. This is my grandma. And what happened was it was a skunk. And I figured I could skin it out, and I did a really good job of avoiding. And I looked up online and it said wear gloves. I said, I don't need to do that. I said be careful around the scent glands, obviously. So I made almost all the way through, but then I thought I could yank the last little bit with the tail. And when I yanked a little bit, the scent gland ruptured.
Yeah.
So stink is everywhere, all over me, all over my hands. Yeah, just a bad situation overall, unfortunately. And here's our friend hanging out. And boy, is there a pungent aroma emanating from him. So I'm gonna see if I can get that stuff rinsed off. I would have showed you the process, but unfortunately I didn't want to get my camera all dirty, which in hindsight, yeah, was about the only smart thing I did, was not getting out the camera to show the process of skinning and everything else. But anyway, here he is. My first skinned out skunk. All right, well, it is about noon, maybe a little after, probably 12:30, and 12:03, and I am in my set for the evening. Everything is really different here than last year. I'm in here after a big 10-point buck that we saw last year several times. And he actually shed on this property right here behind me. So the camera is facing north. And behind me there is a pond, lake, whatever you want to call it. And that pond has been dry for the last 5 years or so. 4 or 5 years. And because it rained so much this year in Kansas, there's water back in it. And that's obviously changed a lot. There's water everywhere. But because there's water in there, they've got a lot more cattle on this ground. So when I first was doing my overview, I just ignored this spot because I didn't want to deal with cattle, obviously. But after sitting the other spots and zooming around a bunch today, I decided to sit in here and just see what happened, because I know that big buck survived last year, and he was hanging out right in this area last year. This is my first time ever sitting in this set. You don't get first set mojo very much, so I'm hoping for good things, but I'm not feeling real good about it, so that kind of stinks. It's grown up so much. And probably because it has been so unseasonably warm, a lot of these leaves haven't come off, so I'm super concealed in here. They're not going to see me, but getting a shot out of here is going to be really tough. Come to think of it, I don't even know what kind of leaves these are. They look like maple leaves, but they're a little different. I doubt this is a maple just one big trunk. So I've got this in the next trunk over, but it's going to be a little bit hard to maneuver. It's over by my left hand, and it's gonna be real tight in here trying to shoot a bow if we get one in range. So this evening we have kind of an east wind with some south in it. So I'm expecting the deer to come from my west, and then also my south. So we'll see. I feel like I'll be pretty good with my wind coming and going down into the water. I think that's where my scent is going to go, so we'll see how it works out. I know there are big deer in here. It's just, I feel like they're not going to come over onto our property because the cattle just ravaged it. So we'll see. I hope they're bedding in there, and maybe they'll come this way for water. But again, I do think there's a lot of water around. I did see tracks. I know they're using this, but tracks don't tell you a whole lot unless it's just beaten down. So there are deer in there, but there are way more cattle. So we'll see what we get into today. Never film your opening interview before putting your safety harness on. I'm only about 8 to 10 feet up, but 8 to 10 foot fall can really ruin your day. It is 1:18. I've kind of switched up my setup a little bit. I'm sitting backwards, essentially, on my seat. Sitting facing the tree. And it was more advantageous to be sitting this way because where I think my shot is going to be is right here. I've got like a pretty nice wide open spot to shoot down in right there from my seated position right here. I am reading that wild country by Park Canyon, and I've really been enjoying it. I'm grateful to my dad who took us to national parks growing up, to the Grand Canyon, to Yosemite, to Sequoia. He never taught me how to hunt, but he did teach me how to fish. And he took me to some of the really important and special wild places here in the U.S., so I'm grateful for that. Certainly had an influence on me. My first experience hunting actually was out here, just on the parcel next door where my grandma lives. My grandpa passed away when I was 1, and my grandma, I think all these years, had one boyfriend, and he came out and he taught me how to shoot with his .22, and that's how I learned how to hunt, shooting rabbits with his .22. And then when I finished up college and moved to Minnesota, that's when I actually started hunting, starting hunting with a bow. And I shot my first whitetail with a bow I bought off a guy from church for $50. He'd been sitting in his garage for 15 years. He's like, "Hey, do you want it for $50? And that was a lot of money for me back then. I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." So, and just reminiscing about that and thinking about national parks and my childhood and how special that was for me growing up in relation to this. And then obviously the picture of the Grand Canyon on the back. So another 4.5 hours left in today. I'm hoping that I see some things. Might not see anything at all. I'd attribute that to the cattle, but still a chance. Well, at least the coyotes are having something to eat. Public land, a little hidey hole. Apparently my backlight is terrible. We're on a little island of finger, like a peninsula that's cut off by a creek in all ways, and we actually hopped over a log to get in here. My buddy is going to rattle now. See if anything comes in. It's about noon. My buddy is over there. We hopped over that log to get in here. To see if we can't make something happen here on public land. Well, I am up in a tree. It is the afternoon of November 5th. This morning, hunted off the ground. Had a couple of deer coming downwind of us, so we moved spots. They're coming in a weird spot at the far south, so we went right to the south edge of the property, but nothing else ended up coming by. We got out of there about 9:30. And then we went and scouted some public ground, actually, which was pretty cool. I mean, a nice little public spot. Problem is it's right off the road, and it looks good from the map, so it looked like potentially some other hunters had been in there, but we found a really cool little access point. We jumped over this down cottonwood tree over a pretty swollen creek and got into some really good fresh sign. But it was noon exactly when we were there, so that's obviously tough. It's just been so hot. These deer are probably not moving midday all that much, although again I know it's the rut, so anything can happen. But I came to this spot, and the cattle were in here very recently, maybe a day or two ago, because I came on Monday, and cattle were all in here. And today is Wednesday, and they're gone, so yeah. Actually, I came in on Sunday afternoon. So anyway, I moved my set. Oh, I think I might see a deer. Yeah, I think it's a big buck, maybe. Surely not. No. Anyway, we have buck fever. We've been sitting out here forever. Anything starts to look like a big old deer out there. Any Milo leaf with a antler looking quality. Anyway, we've never set up in these trees before because it would take a gargantuan amount of work, and they're not that big. So I've spent the last hour and a half, 2 hours cutting out this set, and I'm pretty pleased with it. It's on a fence line that they like to travel east to west, and got Milo out there, and a lot of it. So, I mean, all this was completely covered up. So they like to come down this fence line right here. I also realize this is a directional mic, so it's not going to pick up what I'm saying when I'm pointing it the other way, but they like to come down that fence line. And we've never hung a set in this tree line. Number one, one because these trees weren't really big enough, we thought, and it would take a ton of work. So I just decided to do it today. So we'll see what happens. I'm expecting some movement towards the evening. Really hoping. I want to get back to my family. Successful. Today's my second last day. Tomorrow will be my last. So take you along for the ride. I'm really excited. Appreciate you guys joining me for the adventure. The time is now 4:51. Not sure if you can hear that with the directional light, but I've got a couple of owls talking back and forth. I'm not sure which light is better. I've got a couple of owls talking back and forth behind me. I have not seen any movement at all, but it's also 65 degrees. So the wind has calmed down a little bit over the last 5 minutes, and I'm feeling hopeful that we'll see some movement. This tree that I'm set up in has a pretty good view over this whole entire bowl. I mean, I'm probably looking over 40 acres or so, maybe a little more, that I can see. And if a buck stands up in this milo, I'm going to see his rack walking through, so just hoping. You hear the cattle and the gray horned owls. But I'm hopeful that if a buck walks or stands up, he's going to come to this water behind me. I've got a pond on this property to my southeast, maybe 150 yards, maybe 100 yards. So I can cut off any deer that come this way. I'm most familiar with bucks moving from west to east, and they'll come right along this fence line, like I said earlier. So it's 4:55. It's go time. It's money time. I have yet to see a single deer, but here we go. So again, you may not be able to hear it because of how directional this mic is, but about 200 yards south of me, there are a ton of ATVs and screaming men wrangling up a bunch of cattle. Which is just kind of funny to me. There's no way a deer's gonna come in here. Like, deer hate, in my experience, deer hate ATVs more than anything. And they have had them zooming around there for the past 45 minutes. And all the cattle have just been... The dudes are yelling, so... You know, you win some, you lose some. Finally, right as the sun was going down, about 500 yards to my east, I saw a bunch of deer moving around, big bucks, nose to the ground, pushing toes. And I mean, the action was just shut off all day until that sun went down, so just not experiencing kind of the typical rut behavior because of this just endless field of milo, which is not only here, but kind of all around. Usually now is when all the milo is gone, but either because the yield's been so high or because so many people planted milo or it's been so wet. Probably couldn't see that pheasant landing behind me, but anyway, for any number of reasons, there's just milo everywhere that's still in. I mean, they are harvesting it now, but there's so much still left. I mean, they just started cutting that field where I saw all those bucks running around. That's cut milo. And I'm sure they're just bedded in here real thick in all the low-lying areas. You can't see them pretty much when they're bedded and the milo is this high, so anyway, I think John saw a monster tonight over by my grandma's place, so maybe we can make a play on him tomorrow night. I mean, I only have one more day to hunt, so this is the end of my third day, and it's been pretty disappointing as far as deer go, but it's been really fun. I mean, I had a pheasant run just underneath my stand, and it's been really beautiful being out here. I finished That Wild Country by Mark Kenyon. Learned a lot about public land that I really had no idea about. Gave me a new appreciation for my dad and him taking us camping growing up in, Yosemite and all the different Joshua Tree National Park, all the different national parks near where we lived in Southern California. I'm super grateful for that, especially now having kids and knowing how difficult it is to move all of them. So, yep, I'm going to be packing up the camera, calling it a day for day number 3. Today was November 5th. And yeah, not a lot of running action, just too warm and too much Milo, mostly probably too warm, but this Milo sure ain't helping because they could be in there and never have to come out. So they're not coming to water, they're not coming to anything else, and because there's so much of it around, which is good from an ecosystem point of view. But if I'm camping their water source and it's their only water source, then I feel like my odds are pretty good. So anyway, gonna pack up and hop on out of here. Wait for John to come pick me up with the truck on the road down there. Signing out for day number 3.5. And tomorrow is my last chance to get on a deer this year, so we'll see. It is 5:30 a.m. I am all set up in a tree, and I'm rather surprised this camera can pick up anything at all. I've got a south wind today, and this is my last day to be in the woods. I am hunting over the pond. The south wind is blowing right to the road. I've seen really big deer out of this stand before. I've shot really big deer out of this stand before. And we'll see if we can make it happen. It's been so warm over the past few days that we have seen very, very minimal running activity during the day. So, morning it is. It is actually a little bit chilly this morning. It's in the mid-30s. So it's respectable chilly. And I'll keep you guys along the ride. I'm really hoping. Got in here early, didn't bugger anything up. First shooting light is in about an hour. I'm really impressed with this camera being able to record because it is not bright out. Anyway, I'll keep you guys updated. It is 6:48, and I'm actually cold for the first time this whole trip. John just texted, and he is sitting where I sat yesterday morning. No, 2 mornings ago. And he's seen a mega giant buck with a younger buck. And he doesn't have a buck tag now because he tagged out before he came on this trip. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of sign in here, but there is one big buck rub right behind me that's fresh on a big tree. So that's a good sign that there's a mature buck in here at least at some point in the last few days. And that's all you can ask for. So we'll see. Well, probably my last morning hunt of the season. And nothing moving out here, and honestly at this point it just feels like I'm waiting for a ride. Well, my buddy John dropped me off this morning, and he, the one without a buck tag, he had 3 bucks in the field running around in front of him. He said one of them was an absolute hammer. Actually, let me read the text. He said, real good buck at first, and then he said, Actually, it's 2 bucks, one young stud and a mega. And John knows deer. He's not just gonna call any old deer a mega. And then he said, OMG, third buck just showed up on the horizon. At least a 12-pointer, nose to the ground, acting crazy. There's gotta be a hot doe in here. So, I'm happy for him. I'm excited that, he made the drive out here a little over 4 hours and that he's getting to see deer. But I'm not happy for him because he's already tagged out, of course. So, it's been an interesting year. I mean, I have one more evening sit left tonight. Might try to get into him in the middle of the day too, but this Milo is just making it tough. I'd be interested to glass from the sides of some of these fields. He said they were going back into the Milo, and you can see a buck sometimes if it's better in the Milo, but now I think it's just tall enough. There's been enough rain this year that the grain heads, if they're laying down, I don't think you can see them when they're in a field of Milo. So yeah, we'll see if we can get onto them tonight, but literally right now it just feels like I'm waiting for my ride out of here. It's been dead quiet, and the sign hasn't been so good. I mean, there's a couple of roads around me, but I mean, just the fact that there is no movement here on November 6th in the morning is just odd to me. So, anyway, a little disappointing, but, I've had a good time, and I was actually cold for the first time this morning. Like, cold. I was like, oh, man. And I feel like that's kind of a rite of passage, or, I don't know, a signifier that season has really started in earnest, because I have not been cold at all this whole week, which is just odd. I've spent so many hours in this tree and other trees freezing my butt off in past years, so it does feel like season's actually started in earnest now. So there's a tiny little finger of CRP grass and rocks that goes kind of right into the middle into a high point. That's right where I am. John saw bucks running around out here this morning. I've seen nothing, of course. Got out of the pond sit, so I don't know. We'll see, man. I'm not super confident. It's my last day. Just trying to do a Hail Mary here, running around, chasing these deer. I've almost forgot what they look like. I'm sure if you've hunted for a while, been very unsuccessful, you do forget what they look like. I got the decoy set up maybe 80 yards to my west. Wind is straight south right now, but it's supposed to switch into a west wind, so his wind will be blowing and he's up on top of the hill. So I don't know. Kind of hoping that the deer get a little curious about him and come check him out, So we'll see. We will see. I'm feeling down a little bit and not very confident. It's been a hard few days here. I don't know. Deer have just not been cooperating and doing what they've historically done, which is tough. So we're trying to figure them out, try something new. So we'll see. Alright, well, that's my season. I actually moved, and it was a good thing I did. I moved straight north into the field edge, and maybe 45 minutes ago, a big old buck came out right next to me, and it was a cool encounter. He wasn't really intent on coming to me. He was going north over to the neighbors, and I had the decoy kind of on the south, right on the edge of the field. So if they popped out of the south, the first thing they would see in the cut beans would be that decoy. But he ended up going north, and we interacted a little bit, but he just wasn't interested. So it was a cool encounter. I got one picture. He was a big, mature 9-pointer, nothing crazy, but a nice deer. I would have been very, very happy to wrap my tag around. There's the sunset behind me. I mean, it never fails. This is such a beautiful place. I'm so blessed that I get to come out here. It's cliche, but I had a really good time. I spent the whole daylight hours sitting under the sun today. So I am sunburned, I am wind chapped, but I'm happy. I mean, what a gift. I got to read a book, I got to sit in the stand, I got to hang out with friends, talk deer. And I have a job that allows me to do this, which is such a blessing. And then still obviously take care of home and the family. Gotta go back tomorrow morning, back to sitting in an office. Some may call it the rat race. Sitting in an office has never been the easiest thing for me to do, but I'm happy with my job, and I'm happy with the people that I work with and work for. I'm happy I get to influence people's lives in education. It's a good field. So, signing off for hunting season 2025. Thanks for joining me. Set. Last Kansas sunset. Oh, and they're also finishing up that field of Milo. So at this point, you're probably ready to call the manager and say, where was that buck that you promised in the thumbnail? Did you just clickbait me? And the answer is no. My wife let me go out for one final hunt. Her mom showed up 2 weeks after my hunting season. And on Saturday the 15th, I had everything planned out to go out for a Sunday the 16th, last hunt of my entire season for the morning. So I had all my gear ready. I was sleeping downstairs on the couch so that when my alarm went off at 4:30, I wouldn't wake up the baby and my wife, who sleep in the room. And I was so ready. I was about to drift off to sleep when at about 10:30, I heard a horrible noise coming from upstairs, which was my 4-year-old vomiting everywhere. And if you've ever had a 4-year-old or seen a 4-year-old throw up, it's a brutal sight. They do it everywhere. She did it all over her bed, all over her floor, and proceeded to walk in it, track it all around. So very quickly, my plans evaporated, and I realized that I'd be staying home the following Sunday morning. So on Sunday morning, we decided not to go to church. My 2-year-old had thrown up a few days before, so it was clear that there was something going around our house, and it wasn't going to work out. That evening, normally we volunteer for our youth group, but also, again, we didn't want to spread any sickness. So about 1:30, I asked my wife, hey, could Zion and I go out to this little tiny piece that's about 5 minutes away from our house? It's a tiny little quarter, a really special property, of course. Our neighbor owns it, and he's agreed to let us hunt out there. So I asked him, hey, could we go out to that corner and hunt today? He said, fine. My wife said it was okay, so I took Zion out, and that north end of that property was all covered in standing milo. So that actually caused me to audible real quick once we got there. And it got really exciting really fast. So I hope you enjoy.
God, Dad, Knuckles.
Oh, Knuckles. I got him. I just punched one. All right, let's see if we can zoom out. Oh my gosh.
We gotta run.
I just walked up on him with my son right behind. Did you see me shoot?
Yeah. No, I did not see him.
You didn't see the buck, but you saw me shooting?
Yeah,
you saw me draw back?
I saw your arrow.
You saw my arrow go?
How far?
It was 30 yards. 30 yards.
30? Oh my.
30 yards.
It's gonna be a
Okay. So we just walked from that homestead. Zion, you want to tell them what we did?
Wait, so tell the deer.
No, tell people. Anybody watching.
We were over there, that we ducked down. Dad, I saw some deer. How many?
Maybe 6.
6 deer, maybe. And then he was walking over. It took a while, like 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to get him, and then he got it.
Yeah, we walked over from that farmstead. I am facing north right now, you're facing south, and we had a pretty strong southeast wind. So we tried to cut over and then come up, and I looked into this this field edge in front of us here through this thick stuff. And oh, there's a deer out there. You see that doe running? She's trying to figure out what's going on. There's another buck. I wonder if it's the same one. No, it's a different buck. Yeah, so anyway, I saw him and he was pissed about something, probably the other bucks running around out there. And he started raking on this tree, and I had Zion. Oh, you can't see me at all. So I'm gonna set this up. So he started raking on that tree, and he was just raking, because there's other bucks pushing around all those does in that corner. It's a milo field, and it's just a winter wheat corner, and they're all feeding in that winter wheat corner, and it's hot out, and I'm so surprised to see them all out there. But he walked right to us at about 30 yards and was raking that tree, and I was like, okay, Zion, sit down. I had him sit down behind me, and I walked up, and he just kept raking. He was standing broadside, and I was like, I'm gonna shoot, and punched it right through some brush. So I'm gonna go check out the arrow. Oh, I'm so excited. It's been a long season. I'm gonna text Mama, let her know. Are you excited? You wanna go check out the arrow?
Yeah.
See what we got? All right, let's check it out. You hear us now?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because they're running away. You can't see them.
Okay, so our original plan was to sit in this box blind right here. I don't know if you could see it. It's in this tree row right here.
It's right there.
Well, yeah, and then I pulled an audible just based on the fact that this is standing milo in mid to late November, and I swear they'd be bedding in here, and it was a marginal wind because I knew that our wind would be blowing into the corner of this field, but not like right here in this corner. We had enough. So anyway, we were about to stand, and we were walking up to this set, and I looked to my left, and this field is full of deer. So we're gonna go check it out. I'm gonna get an arrow just in case, put it on my bow. I set my bow down right here. I'll show you guys what I actually did. So I peeked through these trees here, and I saw that there were deer feeding in all of here. And I was like, okay. And then one of them was a decent buck, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then he just beelined for us, and he was raking the tree on the field edge, or like closer to us over there. So he came in like a couple steps, and I stood right there where my bow is. You could see my bow is right here. And I schlocked him. I took 3 steps that way into that thick stuff and was hoping he wouldn't see me or hear me. And I knew our wind is blowing like this, like very marginal wind. All those deer just weren't smelling me, and he walked beelined at us. So, all right, you ready to go check it out?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
No. That?
We don't need that. No, not right now. We hope that he's deceased over there.
Okay.
All right, so I was standing right here, and you can see that rub right in front of us to the right, and he was raking that tree right over there, right about here.
Can we go closer?
Yep, we're gonna go. You walk that way, Zai. It's gonna be a little tough to get through here. It's kind of nasty stuff, lots of brambles and briars and stuff. You okay?
Yeah, I need help.
Okay, I'll help you. I'm just gonna set this stuff down here. I don't need it right now. You got it? Ooh, just a little caught. You good?
Yes.
All right, don't step on my bow.
I said it.
All right, so you saw that rub all torn up right there. And then this is an older rub. It trails all the way through this stuff. And he was right over here raking on this tree. You okay?
Yeah.
Sticker? You got a sticker?
Yeah.
What? Where?
Sticker.
Okay, get it out.
Oh. Got it.
So I saw my arrow sticking into him. He was raking right over here, and I shot through this thick stuff. I didn't realize how much stuff was here, but you could see the tree he's raking on.
Oh yeah, I see a little white thing.
Yep. He was giving that tree the business. All right. Oh, remember that cow? There's an old dead cow right here. Do you remember when we saw that cow earlier, Zai?
Uh-huh.
What did he look like?
Where is it?
See all the bones?
Yeah.
All right. Careful.
The other food.
You good? Yeah. Boom. This is a tree that killed him, I think.
There.
See how fresh that is?
Where?
Right here.
Yeah.
He was raking on this.
That was fresh, Red.
Yep, that's a fresh one.
Where did you shoot him?
Well, stand back. He was standing right here, so we'll see if we can find any blood around. I'm almost positive I got him perfect, but I guess we'll find out.
Maybe there was blood on your arrow.
Yeah, there's probably blood on my arrow. And I thought I saw my arrow sticking out of him over here. So we'll see.
Maybe
I don't see any blood at the impact site.
Maybe it was bloody and maybe it was bloody and it dropped blood and it dropped blood on your arrow. And it just flung out on your arrow.
Okay, here's my arrow. I hope. Oh, I missed. Nope. Yep. Oh no, I got him.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It looks like.
You broke your arrow.
Yeah, it broke off inside of him. Okay, there's a chunk of meat, and I don't like that.
Where is he?
That's meat, so that might be in the thigh. Okay, there's the back of my arrow. Oh no.
He's really bloody.
Okay. Okay, so I do see bright red on here, but not exactly what I want to see. Okay, there's a buck right there. You see him? See the buck?
No. Oh yeah.
You think he's happy to see us?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we did just shoot his big brother, so
He walked past it.
he's checking us out. He says, "Hey, what are you guys doing in my house?"
Ty.
Do you wave at him?
No, he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's trying.
Run toward him.
You want to run at him? Yeah. Go for it. Kids are funny, man. Scared him off? All right. So, okay, there's blood on the grass. You see this side?
Oh yeah.
No, hold on. I'm gonna get this back zoomed out.
That little Nazi'd in the blood.
You think so? Did I bring my phone with me? Mama's gonna maybe want to see what's up. All right, let me check this. Oh, I see him. I see him. He's dead. I see him. He's dead right there. The whole time he's dead. Can you see him, Zai?
No.
He's dead.
Wait.
Right beside the bottom of the irrigation pivot. I don't know if you could see that, but he is dead right there. Let's go check him out, buddy.
Oh, got a deer one.
All right, let's see if you can go find him.
Sure.
Keep walking straight. You might be able to see him.
No. Oh wait.
You see him?
See him.
You do?
Yeah.
What do you think?
There.
What do you think?
Nice. The feeling how is that way?
Yeah?
See that is up there you can up there.
All right, hold on. We have to be very, Zion, back up. We have to make sure that he's dead. Oh yeah, he's gone. Perfect, look at that shot. That's the exit. Right where I wanted it. Oh, wow. Amazing.
What?
Check it out, Zion.
Woohoo! Why is there blood coming out of his nose and out of the ground?
Well, because I hit him in his lungs.
Oh yeah, because he can breathe.
Yeah, I hit him in his lungs. What do you think, dude?
Good. Second year you shot in the lungs.
Well, since you've been aware. Yeah, I shot last year's in the lungs too, didn't I?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow, look at him.
He's huge.
He is. It's a big old deer.
Somebody's eating him.
All right. What a day, Zai. High five. And Nux. Thump him. Woohoo! What do you think?
How do we bring him home?
Well, we're going to put him in our Prius.
What's a Prius?
My car.
What? What about the blood? Do you not mind?
Yeah, I don't mind. I have blood in my Prius from last year. All right, what do you think, Zai?
Ew.
Is he a little guy?
Yeah. No, he's big.
Oh my goodness.
I can open his mouth when he lifts it up.
Yeah.
Lift it up with two again.
You want to be a deer hunter someday?
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's heavy.
He is heavy. What do you think?
His knees are hurt.
Yeah, he's got bones in there. Think he was rutted up or what? That means he was trying to make baby deer with the mama does.
Where did we go?
Well, they all ran away. I think they were they didn't want to hang out for too long.
Maybe they saw blood on the bucket and they're a predator.
That's right. I think you're probably right. That's probably what happened.
They believe there's a predator and they maybe hurt us.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, we got to work on getting him taken out of here, don't we?
Yeah. We might need a pickup truck.
Yeah, we might.
Pickup truck can carry a lot of stuff.
Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes in November, but it don't matter, baby. Woohoo! Let's get a look at his big old head. Let's get a look at his big old head. Oh, that's a nice looking deer right there. Woohoo!
Should stop.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. I love you very much. I love that you got to come with me. Is that so exciting?
Yeah.
You helped me out. You're my lucky charm, buddy.
Will we gut him?
Yes, we will. We'll gut him out. So I came back to the spot. So again, he was giving this tree a run for its money, showing it who's boss. You can see how fresh that is. He was literally antlers pushing on the tree when I shot him from right over there. And my Luminoc came off when the arrow entered his body. So that might mean I'm using too small of a size. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because it worked out. Found this in the grass right here.
Maybe your bow was flying too fast because you were really excited.
You're right. I was really excited. What did I tell you when I saw him?
Stay down.
Yep, I told you stay down. I said don't move, and then I had you come up right behind me, right? Yeah. And you saw me pull my bow back and shoot my arrow?
Yeah, but I didn't see him.
Yeah, you didn't see the deer.
No.
Because he was a little bit far away. Yeah, I mean, 30 yards.
That tree, then he shot,
Right,
then he ran
right, I think in there.
Inside him, then bam.
So we just had a little window right here to get him from. So awesome. Look at that. You see all the ticks in his belly?
Yeah. Oh my. His tongue's sticking out.
It's disgusting.
Getting anything.
What'd you say?
I said it's a special day because we did not get to get in a tree stand.
Truly, I can't understate how grateful I am that I get to chase these beautiful animals in this wonderful country. I'm thankful to God that He made His creation so beautiful, so interactive, and just see His fingerprints on everything that He's made, and being outside and getting to experience that really doesn't compare with anything else. I'm thankful to my wife again for empowering me to do this and allowing me to do this, and just that my son got to be with me. These hunts get more and more special as I continue to grow older, and now getting to share it with the next generation is obviously such a blessing and such a gift. I'm grateful to everybody around me, to God for His creation, and for Jesus for the freedom with which I live now. So what a blessing it is.